This is VK6ARN, Newswest. We are a community organisation and we've been serving up the best amateur radio news in Australia since 1931. Hi there, I'm Clinton, VK6FCRC, and welcome to Newswest for the 29th of September 2024. Now on with the show.
Well, what a weekend. I'm still exhausted. Perth Tech was on last weekend and there was a full day of presentations and, as promised, the content of the presentations ranged from purely technical to practical based on stories about experiences of the presenters. There were about 40 people in attendance, a good crowd who were attentive, interested and involved. They were taking notice even when I was presenting. I'm the bloke that does most of the organisation leading up to the event, keeping my committee advised and seeking their inputs along the way. And I foolishly wonder what's going to happen on the day. Will I be running around like a chook with its head cut off, or will it be okay on the day? I have those nagging doubts every time, and every time there are more people than I can use, stepping in, offering to do stuff, and that's heartwarming. The day began with a minor technical hiccup, of course, during which Miles, our Master of Ceremonies, called in sick. The technical glitch was fixed in time to commence the day, and Glyn, VK6PAW, stepped in to perform the Master of Ceremonies job, and to run the raffle, and to hand over microphones to presenters. And that was a sterling effort, thanks Glyn. Miles, VK6 MLS, is recovering from his short stay in hospital. The hospital staff are still receiving counselling. Steve, VK6SJ, managed the catering, thanks Steve, and Mark, VK6USB, managed the audio-visual side of things, and thanks Mark. And there were loads of others, especially Andy VK4KCS and Chris VK3QB, who were visitors, also chipped in and helped. I won't even mention that they chipped in to help drink my red wine at home, but apparently that happens when you host amateurs at your house. I'll publish a list of those who sponsored Perth Tech. Their generosity made it possible to stage the event basically free to participants. The participants only paid for catering. I've been busy with works at home this week and haven't been able to do much more than make sure the bills for Perth Tech got paid, so you'll hear more about the event in due course. All sessions were recorded and we'll need time for these to be edited and uploaded. So, did you miss out on Perth Tech last weekend? Let's try and fix that. We'll try to set the date early next year. No, Perth Tech's not going to be early next year, I don't think, but we'll set the date early, if you know what I mean, so you can mark your calendars. Ask those who attended. They'll tell you it's worth it. Perth Tech is organised and conducted by WA Amateur Radio News, the same club that brings you Newswest. I'm Bob, VK6POP.
Hi, just a little note about VK6RRG and the WAG Technical and General Net. Having it run every Sunday morning on VK6RLM, that's 146.750, or Channel 3 in the old money. And it starts at 10:30 a.m. this morning. Of course, if you're listening in the evening, it's next week.
On Tuesday afternoons and evenings, the 40 and 80 metre bands come alive with the sound of slow CW. Who would have thought that this ancient art, which some say was once such a dreaded part of the amateur licence test, would become so popular in these days of modern communications? The uncontrolled net is run in designated portions of the two bands to encourage new CW operators to have a go at slow CW in a safe and really friendly environment. Slow speed and lots of mistakes are par for the course. It's all about having a go, starting with a basic call sign and RST exchange, then over time getting better and better. The net also attracts its fair share of old-timers who enjoy helping others to have a go or to just enjoy the banter. The CQQRS net started in Western Australia 3 years ago and has been running every single Tuesday and has been unbelievably popular. The net runs from 3 p.m. until about 7 p.m. on 40 metres, then moves to 80 metres, and we've had up to 60 stations on air having a go, and who knows how many listeners are out there every Tuesday as well. So the CQQRS net is on 40 metres between 0700 Zulu and 1100 Zulu, that is 3 p.m. until 7 p.m, and is held between 7020 and 7040 kHz. Then between 0900 Zulu and 1300 Zulu, which is 5 p.m. until 9 p.m, we're on between 3540 and 3570 kHz every Tuesday. There's no net control, so when you're ready to have a go, just find a quiet spot and start calling CQQRS at about 75% of the speed you can copy. Most stations will match your speed, so go slow until you're really comfortable with CW. So this might be just the opportunity you've been waiting for to have a go at transmitting on CW, or perhaps just to stop the contacts rusting up on your key. Doesn't matter whether you're brand new to the code, or if you're an old-timer who would like to have a bit of fun and help encourage new operators by having simple, safe QSOs at their speed. We'd love to have you join in. Too much switch mode power supply hash on 80 metres? This might be the incentive to do something about it. With a cheap noise canceller costing less than $100, 80 metres could be easier than you think. So again, the net starts at 3 p.m. every Tuesday above the DX segment on 40 metres between 7020 and 7040. Then, after 7 p.m, moves to 80 metres between 3540 and 3570 kHz. There are usually stations in the west, east and in between listening out for your CQQRS call. For more information and to receive our free weekly CQQRS RagTune newsletter, contact me, Mark, VK6QI, via the email on qrz.com, or you can use our address cqqrsnet@gmail.com. That is cqqrsnet@gmail.com, and I'll be pleased to have a chat.
Foundations of Amateur Radio. As I sit here away from my shack, I'm overlooking a picturesque valley that I'm visiting for a couple of days to see the stars. I learnt recently that my SO, significant other, had never seen the Milky Way with their Mark I eyeball, and we thought that it would be fun to remedy that. One of the challenges in accomplishing this is that we're surrounded by light almost everywhere we go. Street lights, porch lights, car lights, stadium and building lights, traffic lights, even emergency lighting on various towers dotting the landscape. Last night we laid on our backs on a picnic blanket tucked into a sleeping bag looking up at the sky. The valley where we are is pretty good. There's much less light pollution than in the city, but it's not pitch black. We fantasized about knocking on neighbours' doors to ask them to turn off their porch lights, but quickly came to the realization that this was not going to be either acceptable or reasonable. While I entertained the notion of creating a community Milky Way watching event, increasing local awareness of the new moon, light pollution and making it a local monthly event, I discovered that astrotourism is a thing, and our location happens to be part of the local scene. Of course, I couldn't help myself and started explaining to my SO about how light and radio are the same thing, when it struck me that in our hobby we have a similar issue. We don't refer to it as light pollution. Instead, we call it noise, specifically QRM, or man-made noise, as opposed to QRN, natural noise. I wondered what a community event might look like if we did this with radio amateurs rather than stargazers. How far would we need to go to get away from noise? And could we realistically make something that was actually noise-free? In reality, the radio gear we bring, the power supplies, the solar panels, generators, inverters, computers, and pretty much all the other stuff to make life, come with radio noise to more or less a degree. How could you set up an event where that type of noise was contained? Could it be done? What would it take? On a small scale, I can go to my local park with a fully charged 12-volt battery and a radio and get some sense of what it might look like. But all that really does is whet your appetite. What does this sound like if it's really quiet? For stargazers, there's a project called Dark Sky with a .org website. It documents where designated dark sky places are and promotes the protection of communities from the effects of light pollution through outreach, advocacy and conservation. We as radio amateurs could do with such a thing. What would our radio quiet spaces look like? How would we find them? How would we coordinate our efforts, and what would outreach, advocacy and conservation look like for a radio quiet space? From a stargazing perspective, I've experienced the middle of nowhere, Lake King in Western Australia, in a paddock lying in my swag looking up. The sight is overwhelming. I felt like I was falling even though I was lying flat on my back, physically not moving. I wonder what such a level of quiet looks like with a radio. I'm Ono, Victor Kilo 6, Foxtrot Lima Alpha Bravo.
This is Newswest, your amateur radio news on VK6ARN, originating on the Newswest linked repeater network and HF relays.
Well, here's one you may not have heard of. This is International Dog Day, and that's observed annually on the 26th of August to honour all dogs, no matter their shape, sizes, age or breeds, and encourage adoption to all those who have yet to find a home and a family forever. It's a good and symbolic occasion to celebrate man's best friend and to remember that every dog around the world should deserve a better life, a life of joy, love, protection, care and respect. It's a special day to raise awareness about dog adoption because if you are looking for a life's companion, shelters are full of four-legged friends who are waiting for their chance and will bring just happiness to your days. Today we also want to give special thought to all dogs that are still left behind in many parts of the world because people, government or local authorities do not care. We should remember all dogs killed, abused, mistreated, but also those who live homeless, in suffering with no care and need to be helped and rescued. This day was created in 2004 by Colleen Page, a pet and family lifestyle expert and animal advocate who chose to celebrate the day on August the 26th as it was the date that her family adopted their first dog, Sheltie, from an animal shelter home. Since the first celebration in 2004, National Dog Day has grown in popularity and is now celebrated across the world as International Dog Day. So choose to celebrate by giving your dog an extra cuddle, but also do not forget the others and help them by volunteering in a shelter, making a donation or consciously adopting your friend forever. Be sure to spend this day acknowledging how wonderful and valuable dogs are and give them something positive. So we get to the point of this story now, and we're talking about International Dog Day on amateur radio, and more stations are appearing supporting International Dog Day, and more information is being added as soon as it's available to let you know about ham radio operations and those who are on the air. Some of the participants this year posted stories and pictures of their rescue dogs with the resulting cuteness overload. And the website is dogdayradio.org. Did you get that? Dogdayradio, one big long word, .org. Some of the call signs that were pulled together for the event are fun. Golf Bravo 0, dog. Golf Bravo 4, dog. Yankee Lima 1, dog. And a few others. So especially if you're a dog fan and especially if you're involved with rescue dogs, here's your chance to get active on air to promote that cause. Perhaps it could be a club activity that you could arrange, or a loose collection of interested amateurs operating individually would make it more interesting. It's up to you. So wouldn't it be great if someone here took up the initiative to hound a group of VK amateurs, do you see what I did there, into action to raise interest in rescue dogs? So it's over to you. The website again is dogdayradio.org. Dogdayradio.org. It's not hard. Have a look.
Good morning, listeners. It's Roy, VK6 X-Ray Victor, with this week's helpline for the 29th of September 2024. Today I have some more Ham Shack clearance sale from VK6 Echo Tango's estate. We have a Golf Tango Sierra Tango Papa VHF UHF Bofeng 8-watt, 4-watt and 1-watt handheld transceiver, including the charging cable. Price only $15 or nearest offer. We also have a Fox Tango 70 Delta 2 meter 70 centimeter 5-watt handheld transceiver. That price is $130 or nearest offer. Contact Tony on 0472 608 523, 0472 608 523, or email to Tango Alpha Romeo Golf Echo November Tango India at aussiebroadband.com.au. That's Tango Alpha Romeo Golf Echo November Tango India at Alpha Uniform Sierra Sierra India Echo Bravo Romeo Oscar Alpha Delta Bravo Alpha November Delta.com.au, or the landline phone number 089 528 6735. 089 528 6735. Next, I still have a UHF CB transceiver in brand new condition, boxed, an ICOM IC450 80 channel UHF Charlie Bravo transceiver, and it has the ability to work from 12 volts or 24 volt DC supply. Comes with a speaker microphone, which is all controls the functions within the unit, and you may contact Clive VK6CSW for that unit. Email Clive, his email address Charlie Sierra Whiskey Alpha Lima Lima India Sierra at hotmail.com. Charlie Sierra Whiskey Alpha Lima Lima India Sierra at hotmail.com for further details. If you have any items for next week, please send them to VK6 X-Ray Victor by Thursday night, so I can record it and get it to Clinton by midday Friday. My email address is vk6xrayvictor at bigpond.com. That's all I have for you for this week. In the meantime, thank you once again to 7th Read. This is Roy, VK6 X-Ray Victor.
The next Oceania DX contest event starts next weekend. The phone contest will be on Saturday, the 5th of October. That's next Saturday, starting at 0600 UTC. And the CW contest is on the following weekend and starts on the 12th of October at the same time. This is the 79th running of the Oceania DX contest. It's one of the oldest amateur radio contests still running. Solar conditions are the best they've been in more than a decade, so your opportunity to make contact with stations in Oceania has never been better. This comes from their website. Sounds like they're preaching to the rest of the world, but never mind. It's good information. And the organisers are looking forward to seeing everyone on air on both weekends, and they're expecting lots of stations from Oceania to be calling CQ contest, looking for the international contacts. I'm pretty sure that'll happen. After our place-winning debut at the Remembrance Day contest, the Hills Amateur Radio Group is forming a small team to have a go at the Oceania DX contest. And the contest, as we said, commences at 2 p.m. local time on Saturday. The Hague effort, again, will be at the Hague Club Rooms in Les Murdy, and will be entering the M1 category. M1 means having more than one operator using a single transmitter, so that's multi-operator, one transmitter. I think that's the class best suited to our group. And with the way propagation has been recently, it should turn out to be an exciting contest. We'll be using the Hills Amateur Radio Group's VK6 Alpha Hotel Romeo club call sign. So what are your plans for the Oceania DX contest? Have you thought about having a go? Have a go as a club, a loose-knit group of amateurs, or on your own. One contest fits all. Have a look at the website. It's oceaniadxcontest.com. oceaniadxcontest.com. Oceania, OCEANIA, dxcontest.com. And read up all about it. And have a go, even if you just start at 2 o'clock and work until you drop dead or something and have to go to bed. That's good enough. I'm Bob VK6POP.
Hi there, it's Clinton, VK6FCRC, back with you. And did you know that Newswest is now on YouTube? Type in youtube.com/@Newswest weekly podcast --Kilo Zulu 7 Yankee Charlie. Oh, and before I go, I'd like to thank those watching on YouTube or ATV, the readers, and you for listening. I'd also like to thank our team, the broadcasters, and those submitting content each week. Please stand by now for callbacks after the broadcast, or head over to the VK6.net website and fill out the forms so we know how many people are listening each week.